Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, so subscribe and hit that bell icon right now. They are not the one for you if they didn't choose you. I'll repeat that again. They are not the one for you if they didn't choose you. So I follow a number of online dating coaches, and I class myself as a asexual dating coach, or a dating coach for asexuals. I give a lots of advice and help and support on this channel about dating and relationships in general, and I also share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. And there's something that I haven't told you, and that is that I've been talking to a guy online who is Indian. And as you know, I really like Indian guys. He found me through another YouTube channel and in comments, and he pursued a relationship with me. So yeah, he was interested in a relationship with me, pursued me basically, but said he couldn't actually have one right away because he would need to finish his studies basically. So to cut a long story short, we became really romantically interested in each other very quickly, and things escalated into love feelings, and now it's very difficult because it's heartbreaking. And so when I say I follow a lot of online dating coaches, I do it, to learn more and to up my knowledge and skills and experience different types of things through different dating coaches. So one quite famous dating coach in the heterosexual world, if you like, is called Matthew Hussey, and he did a video, or there's been quite a few videos obviously done on him, in which he specifically says, it was an interview actually he had with someone, he specifically says, if the person didn't choose you, then they are not the one. So there is this concept about there being the one person for you. Some people believe in the one, some people don't. The one is usually like a soulmate or twin flame, and some people spend their whole life looking for the one. As you know, I do believe I have one Indian soulmate who's my ultimate soulmate in the world. I won't say that I haven't had any connections with other Indian guys, because I really, really have. But I believe there's one ultimate true soulmate, the one that I'm destined to be with forever if I end up being in a relationship, because I do like my single life as well. So since 2014 I was actively searching for this guy, but I haven't been like actively searching like I used to anymore. I've been getting on with my life and stuff. So it was unexpected and out of the blue this person who commented on another YouTube channel to start pursuing me, because I didn't even know it's Indian because it didn't show on his profile. And so anyway, Matthew Hussey is completely right though. If someone doesn't choose you, then they're not the one. So the concept of this one is that there's this one ultimate person for you, soulmate. Some people believe there's lots of soulmates. Some people don't even believe in soulmates. Some people believe the one, or there's multiple the ones. Whatever you believe or don't believe, when we are grieving for a relationship that couldn't happen in the end, and this is basically what I've been doing today, um, we can start saying, oh, well, they were the one for us. They were really the one. There was this, and this, which was really great about them. I thought the one, but Matthew's right. If you look at it logically, they cannot be the one if they did not choose you. If they did not choose to be with you, they are not the one for you. Because if they were the one for you, they would choose to be with you, and they would be with you in a relationship. Hi, Liam. Hi, Sandra. Beautiful. Oh, thank you for being here, Liam. I'm really sad at the moment, so I'm glad you're here. You're always a comfort to me. So anyway, I'm not going to go into all the details about what happened, but I will say that he did choose to have kids over me. And I know that might seem weird, and it's fine for people to want kids, but the problem is in comments when I was on another channel, which is where he found me. I'm not going to say the channel, but where he found me, I specifically said in those comments to him that I have known I do not want kids since I'm 15 years old. And he knew that. He answered that. He's like, oh, damn. And then carried on talking to me. Right. And then he pursued me knowing that I do not want children. I categorically spelled that out to him, that I've known I don't want kids since I'm 15 years old. Yet he pursued a relationship with me knowing that. And then I find out in the early hours of this morning that he does want kids after all. So I'm fine. I found it really difficult because I had such a fantastic emotional connection with this guy. As far as I know, he's on the asexual spectrum, the grey asexual spectrum, even though he didn't know he was. From what he's told me about himself, he's very, very, very similar to me. I mean, I'm a heteromantic asexual, but I have grey areas of kissing and stuff like that. I have high levels of arousal, zero sexual attraction. And he would have been absolutely pretty much spot on compatible with me, I think, in terms of asexuality and that type of like romantic, sensual relationship. And that's what's so difficult and hard, as well as the emotional connection I had with him, like having to separate from him. I had, like I had, well, he made the decision. He chose kids over me. So that was his choice. But Liam, I don't believe in soulmates or love or all sorry to hear you sad, sweetheart. Oh, thanks, Liam. I know you don't believe in soulmates or love at all. I will always believe in soulmates and love. I will not let any guy or any individual ever stop me believing in true love and that there are good guys out there. You know, the one thing this guy did that wasn't good was pursue a relationship with me knowing that he wanted children and I didn't. That was not good, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. That was totally out of order. He shouldn't have done that, because you can't have a relationship with someone when you want kids and they don't. And he was on about, oh, I can look after them myself. You cannot, you're gonna, if you're in a partnership, you're gonna, you share lives together. Even if you live in separate houses, you're still gonna have that kid in the house. You're still gonna have to, like, see that kid, have time with that kid. You know what I mean? You can't like keep two lives completely separate like that, even if you live in separate places. So it was just really heartbreaking. He knew I didn't want children, so that was the one thing he did that he shouldn't have done. I mean, you could argue, yeah, it was great because we had that special time together, but it's heartbreaking. He could have saved us a lot of heartbreak and pain. But yeah, he chose kids. It's really weird because at no point did I think, up until I asked him outright, which I shouldn't have needed to do, he should have told me that up front. At no point did he even give me the impression he wanted kids, because he said that he wanted to start his own business, which I thought was fantastic, help the homeless, stuff like that. That's not the type of and he didn't like the 9 to 5 job, he's not a conventional stereotypical guy, I didn't think. And he doesn't need marriage, and doesn't even, well, he was fine about living apart and stuff like that. And yeah, doesn't need sex. So there was no point that I ever suspected that he wanted children until I asked him outright. Because if someone's like having their own business and they're not wanting to do the 9 to 5, they're not into sex, they're not, needing marriage, they're okay with living apart, that's not really the type of life that you would usually have for a kid normally. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you want to have your own business, you're really ambitious and driven, like commercially, and you know what I mean. I had no suspicion of that whatsoever, because I just thought it sounded like you wanted a similar lifestyle to me. Like both work on your own businesses together, both support each other, both like have that type of freedom of like no marriage and no tied down to traditional norms and stuff. And of course, like, I mean, he is in his early 20s, so he probably doesn't realize as much as I do, and we know on this channel how hard it is to find someone for an asexual relationship. Because he's on the really sexual end of the spectrum, probably he could maybe be with a heterosexual girl. I'm not sure about that though, because I think maybe they would have different needs and maybe they wouldn't be so good at emotionally connecting, because you know what it's like. If an emotional connection is formed, that's how asexuals love. And that needs to be maintained and sustained as well. So it's really disappointing. I'm really upset. I've been crying for hours. I haven't been to sleep all night. Like, literally, I haven't been to sleep at all. I'm really upset. Really upset still. One of my friends was comforting me for a long time in message. She's amazing. Absolutely incredible. I'm lucky to have such supportive supportive friends, you know. I didn't want to say anything about this guy on this channel because I was hoping Super Ace Man. Oh, hi, Rich. It's nice to see you. I'm upset at the moment. It's lovely to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so anyway, you know, he chose kids, which, you know, I don't think it's bad for anyone to want. I mean, personally, I don't want kids, and I think there's a number of reasons why it's not good to have children, actually. But, you know, it does, if someone wants kids, that's up to them, isn't it? That's fair play. But it's not fair play if they're pursuing someone who definitely doesn't want children. It is no point, is there? Absolutely no friggin' point. She just leads to heartache, break, and pain, and keeping that from someone, knowing that, and pursuing a relationship with someone knowing that that's not compatible is not a good thing, you know? It's bound to hurt someone. He said he didn't want to hurt me. It's bound. Of course it was going to hurt me. What did he think it was going to do? You know what I mean? Of course that's going to hurt me. It'd hurt anyone. You know, if it's a major deal breaker. We're talking sex, marriage, and kids. These are all major deal breakers. It's not like, oh, you just like a different piece of music. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about human life. And yes, there are multiple reasons why I personally don't think kids is, you know, very good to have kids. Most people have kids for the wrong reasons. These are reasons of, oh, they are so cute. Oh, it's family tradition, so we need to have a kid. And oh, we need to keep the bloodline going. We need to keep the family name going. These are all no good reasons for having kids. Just because I want one, that's not a good reason to have a child. You know, these are all really bad reasons. You should only ever have a child if you've got the time, care, and attention to give it. And you really want the child for the sake of itself. And if you've got a family history of problems or issues, you need to sort them out before you have a child, because they will just carry down from generation to generation. This is how come loads of adults' heads are screwed up right now. I'm being really blunt with you and honest. Loads of people have issues from their childhood. This is why people end up in abusive relationships, why people end up mentally ill through depression and anxiety, because a lot of the time it's attachment styles. It's how you get attached when you're a child to your caregivers, how much attention they gave you or didn't give you. Were they there for you consistently and persistently, or were they there for you erratically? How many cuddles did you get? How much love did you get? Were you encouraged as a child to play? Were you nourished? Or were you just like sat there in the room while your parents watched TV, neglecting you? Like what, and not even playing with you? Or worse still, you just shoved in your bedroom and, they're just chatting amongst themselves. They haven't even got the time of day for you. Right? I don't have kids because I don't want that lifestyle. If I did have children, I would be a really good mum, because I know what to do in a lot of ways, I feel, but I do not want that responsibility. I do not want that lifestyle. And if you don't want that responsibility or lifestyle, you should not have children. You shouldn't have it because everyone else has it, or because it's to keep your bloodline going, or because of, oh, they look cute and cuddly, don't they, in their little sweaters and stuff. It's ridiculous. These people grow into human adults. And if they're not treated with the exact care and attention they need when they're young, they have a lot of problems when they get older. A lot of problems. This is why the society is pretty screwed up in a lot of ways with people's mental health. I've been studying this type of thing actually for my Asexual Guide sex book a lot, with attachment styles and stuff, And a lot of it's to do with the way you're brought up and the way you're treated, and conditioning as well. People are conditioned to believe that you should have children. Well, as we know in the asexual community, there's a lot of asexuals that don't want kids, that are happy child-free, right? You should only have kids if you want to take them to school, want to take them to play school, play with them, want to talk to them, want to have conversations with them, want to be involved in their everyday life. And this means something's got to give in terms of work. You can't work all the time if you've got children. And palming them off on a nanny, in my opinion, is not a good thing. They will build bonds with the nanny, but you want them to build bonds with you. Otherwise, what's the point in having kids if you're just going to hand them over to someone else? Do you know what I mean? I've got really strong opinions and views on this. And I've got a lot of knowledge about, even though I haven't had children, myself, I've got knowledge about, what goes on in parenting and stuff. I still got more to learn about that. It's not something I tend to be a parent for myself, but it's something that's still good to learn. It's good to learn parenting skills. You have to parent yourself or reparent yourself if you didn't have a good childhood, if there was something wrong with your caregivers. I mean, caregivers can be anyone. You might have been living with your aunt and uncle, you might have been living with your gran and grandpa, you might be living with your mum and dad, it could be a number of, and caregivers can even be people like, if you went to play school and stuff like that, the teachers looking after you and things like this, right? All these people have their own issues and problems and worries, and if they put them on the child grows up with those issues themselves. If you've got shit to deal with, excuse my language, you've got to deal with that shit. Face it on, head on, and be responsible for it, not palm it off on someone else. So there's a lot of things that go on, and I think loads of people have kids just for the wrong reasons, because I want one. It's like, a kid is not a trophy. It's not something you should have just because you want one. Anyway, having said that, I know there's some asexuals who do like kids, do want kids, and they do spend a lot of time with their children, So I'm not saying wanting kids is bad per se. I'm just saying there's reasons why it's not good. And, you don't want to pursue a relationship with someone who has completely different values to you and completely different priorities to you, and who wants completely different things to you. And you don't even do that. If you know that someone wants sex, marriage, or kids, and you don't want any of them, you wouldn't pursue that person, because why would you, when you can't make each other happy and give each other what they want? It doesn't make sense. And so, so if that person chooses like another thing over you, that is fine, but they shouldn't have like put you under false pretenses, and like kept that from you. So that is not a good thing. Other than that, I had a really good connection with the guy. He was a really nice person to talk to. I really liked him a lot. Aesthetically, I liked him a lot. Romantically, I liked him a lot. He was really good to talk to. He's very good at communicating in messages. I have a lot of good stuff to say about him, actually. It's just a shame about that, but that's the major thing. And so, like Matthew says, I totally agree, though. If the person you thought was the one doesn't actually choose you, they are not the one. Because the one who is for you will choose you without question. They would want you in their life forever, and they want specifically you. And that would be it. And it wouldn't be a case of something else over you. It would be a case of you. So when you are looking for dating and relationship compatibility, you should be asking these questions up front, or sharing them up front. If someone wants sex, marriage, or kids, and you don't want any of that, then you should say so, and discussions should be had, and if you know for a fact that you want something the other person doesn't, which is a deal breaker, like, you tell them up front, and you literally get the heck out of that situation very quickly, because you don't want to hurt each other. You don't want to waste each other's time either. It's just heartache and pain. Don't waste each other's time. The worst thing people do when they first start out, even dating online, for example, is they just don't ask the hard questions up front or talk about them. And this is really not good. This is why I said, even in comments, before he even got into my inbox, about the fact that I didn't want children and I don't have sex anymore. And I'm not even, I mentioned up front that I'm not in the emails, I'm not into marriage either. So pretty much straight away. So yeah, so it's been really difficult, when you meet someone who's very asexually compatible with you. It's very, very rare. And obviously, being an older girl, like, with a lot of experience in the asexual community, and like being, knowing why I'm asexual since 2014, what we're in now, 2023, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 years, is it now? Oh my God. It's the 9th year. It's my 9th year of anniversary of knowing I'm asexual. So yeah, that's a long time to know and understand. It's very rare to get that type of compatibility, because a lot of asexuals, we all have different needs with the amount of touching we like or don't like, with if we like sex, don't like sex, if we want kids, we don't want kids. Yeah, and just touching in general, kissing in general, like cuddling, all this type of thing, romance, non-romance. A lot of asexuals aren't even romantic, as we know. The majority are aromantics. They don't experience any romantic attraction whatsoever. You have to excuse the noise, by the way. Where I've moved, I literally live next to a main road in front with no soundproofing. Sorry about that. So yeah, it's just been really difficult. Like, I had such an emotional connection with this guy, probably the most emotional connection I've ever had with someone so far to date. And so that's been really hard to tear myself away from this person. I've had to block them because I just can't have them having easy access to me. And he does know that I might have done that anyway. I did leave him a message to say I was doing it, but he already said goodbye anyway, pretty much. So yeah, it's been really sad, but it's hard. Like I said, it's so rare. Like, for me, my priorities, obviously, in terms of relationship, is finding my actual Indian soulmate that wants to spend the rest of his life with me, and vice versa, in a serious, committed, non-sexual, romantic, sensually intimacy relationship. And that's a big deal to me. I think true love is very difficult to come by. I think emotional connection on a deep level is hard to come by. And I personally think if you find that, you should hold on to it because it's precious, and nourish it and treasure it forever. This is my personal view. I believe asexual love is the most beautiful love in the world. It's the most purest love, and that it's just something very, very special. And I think if you find it with someone, then you should be keeping it, not letting it go. But having said that, obviously, if there's deal breakers where you're just not compatible, you have to let it go. No, no. Would you give him a chance in future if he decides not to have kids? Huh? No, no. Would you give him a chance in the future if he decides not to have kids? Is that you who's asking that? I can't see the photograph, but it looks like it might be you. I'm not sure. Would I give him a chance if he decides in the future not to have kids? If he decides in the future not to have kids, and he happens to be in the UK and wants to be with me, and he was a good guy for me, worked on himself, because he's got some things he needs to work on, I think, as well, personally, then I really like him, you know? Would you give him a chance in future if he decides not to have kids? If he works on himself and becomes a better version of him for himself and me, and came to the UK and decided for definitely he doesn't want kids, and he's not going to resent me for it, and really wants a child-free life that I want, then I would consider it. You know? But is that you? It looks like it is you. And so, yeah. So who is it in chat? Is it the person that I'm talking about in chat, and you've got another profile? You're someone else. Ah, okay. I can't see you. I can't see who you are. Sorry, because it's difficult. Ah, right, okay. So it's not him. So he's not asking that anyway. Anyway, he's not. I don't think he's ever going to change his mind. He's adamant he wants kids, and that's the most important thing to him. And that's the most important thing. I can't see. I gave him opportunity to during the conversation, carry on talking to him for a while in case he actually changed his mind, but he didn't, which is fine, but he just shouldn't have even pursued me knowing that I don't want children. He does. He wants one or two of them. I personally don't necessarily think he wants them for the right reasons, but that's his business, not mine. Um, so, and I think he's got things he needs to work on himself before even considering having children, personally, you know? We've all got stuff we need to work on, but it's an ongoing thing. But I think he's got quite a lot of things, you know? So, yeah, um, it's hard, you know? Really hard. But I don't see him coming back and saying that he's not going to have kids. And by then, I might have found another guy for me, or I might just decide to be stay single, you know? But I might have found another guy for me, someone who doesn't want children and someone who would happily live a child-free life with me. There are lots of asexuals out there that don't want kids, that really don't want to do that whole parenting thing. You know, they just want. I saw your face lit up when you thought him as me. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. I know. My face did light up when you said that, because I did think to myself, it's a shame, because if he decided he didn't want children and he really liked that type of life that I did, then I had actually thought, yeah, I would have ideally liked him to have like decided like, okay, I'd rather be with Sandra, because she's like understands me, she's emotionally connected to me, she really would take care of my heart, she really would love me forever, we get on so well, we have a really great time together in life, and I just think it'd be a really beautiful relationship, you know. And he's different, obviously, because he's on the asexual spectrum, although he didn't realize it, so he's very different to a lot of people. Even talking to him, I can just tell. So if I was him, I would be thinking, oh my God, it's quite rare to find someone so compatible with me. You know, loads of people have children, but how often do you come across someone who's really compatible with you on a you know, like a fundamental deep level emotionally, and obviously in a sexual way, like heteromantic asexual way, you know, like sexuality compatibility. You should give him a chance. After a few months, maybe he'll change his mind. He won't change his mind. He won't change his mind. You know, I'm not going to change his mind for him. He's his own guy, you know. If I have to try and change someone's mind, the whole point of this video, he's not the one. If he doesn't choose me, he's chosen kids over me. And so, like, you know, he's not going to change his mind after a few months. And, you know, he could chop and change his mind again in another few months. That's not stable for me. I want stability, as in the sense of a relationship, but I also want to live the child-free life. I love going out clubbing. What if he does? How will he contact you, as you have blocked him? How do you know I've blocked him? Um, how do you know I've blocked him? What if he does? How will he contact you, as you've blocked him? It's up to him to work that out, isn't it? I'm all over social media. I've got my own website, you know what I mean? Like, he should be able to work it out for himself, you know. I'm all over social media. If he wants to speak to me, contact me that badly, then he would do it, wouldn't he, and find a way. People find a way, or they find excuses in life. It's just the way it is, you know. So yeah, and I don't know why you're asking me this unless you're him or a friend of his. So yeah. But yeah, I need a strong he's your friend. uh I didn't think he told anyone. I didn't think he told. I asked him yesterday, did you tell any friends? And it's like, no, but there's one of my friends knows that I'm obsessed with someone online. So he's watching you right now. Well, there's nothing I can do. He's chosen kids over me, which is fine, but he knew that I didn't want children. I've made it categorically clear. They're not saying anything. Well, he's not going to say anything, is he? He wants children. I don't. I can't stand that type of life. I like a freedom life where it's just me and the guy, and we go out on dates, and we go to theme parks, zoos, aquariums, we kiss, we cuddle. I like a teenager style relationship 24/7, 365 days a year. life is flaming so short. I want to have fun with my life and enjoy it for me, and obviously leave a lasting legacy with this channel. I write books that change lives. I'm only going to be more and more famous because I'm going to help asexuals more and more. And, you know, like, I got more and more books coming out. That's the lasting legacy I want to leave, you know. I even said he could come on this channel with me, which is a big deal to me. I have a lot of trust for that, and, like, you know, be the asexual couple, inspire people, you know, because, like, my dream is to be with an Indian guy, and, you know, I thought he was the one for me, you know. But I was wrong, you know, because, like, the video says, like I started saying, you know, unless someone chooses you, they're not the one for you. He chose something else. You know, like, I know people want children. I personally don't think he wants them for the right reasons, but that's just my personal opinion. He, you know, like, he likes kids, that's fine. But he knew, even before he pursued me, that I do not want children. I haven't wanted children since I'm 15 years old. That's never ever going to change. My parents accepted that a long time ago. I've not got any brothers or sisters. The bloodline ends with me. There's no other little ones running around in my family, because I don't want children. My parents also know that I like younger guys. I've always liked younger guys for a long time. My parents even, like, say if some guy's too old for me now, you know, because they know, and they know that I like an Indian guy. Everyone knows on this channel I like Indian guy, but I specifically like a certain type of Indian guy. And you know what I mean? It's like, in terms of compatibility, I thought we were really, really compatible. But obviously, he's in another country and he's got a year of study to finish, you know. But I know categorically I do not want children. You know, I just don't. I don't want that lifestyle. I love being young, free, single, or young in a relationship all the time. I'm like really cute, cuddly girl who, like, do, you know, like, some, like, guys when, for example, I go to Bollywood events, right, which I'm sure he might have told you about, and the guys there, a majority of them are in their early to mid 20s, right? And I like those type of guys when they're going out having fun, doing Bollywood events. Not all the, like, having sex with loads of women and drinking loads and that type of thing, but the mindset they're in at that age. I like that permanently. You know, like, let's go out, let's have fun together, let's kiss, let's cuddle, let's have a great time in life. That should be like all the time. There shouldn't just be like, oh, you're sat in front of the TV, like, eating food and putting your slippers on and just, like, doing normal boring routines. I don't watch TV. I'm not interested in watching TV. I'm interested in living a high octane, energetic life as much as possible. I do have disabilities. I have fibromyalgia. You know, it's not suitable for looking after a child. I get on well with children as little beings in their own right. Like, I like kids, that's in, I get on with them because I'm on the same wavelength as them. Like, when I was in one of my old jobs, I used to talk to them about movies, like Toy Story and stuff like that, because I watch kids' movies. And I was like, oh, yeah, Toy Story is really good. Like, what happened? And I got, at one point, I got these kids to make all these noises of animal noises while their parents were going to buy a bed, because I actually get on well with kids as little beings in their own right, little adults. I don't think about having children. It's like, I like younger guys, but not to mother. I do not want to mother a younger guy. I want a guy who's an adult, you know, a mature adult, and who knows his own mind and what he wants, and who is, like, very boundary driven as well with everyone, which he needs to be as well. I'm not going to go into his personal details, but there's certain things he needs to work on, you know. And you know, you have to have boundaries with people. You have to have boundaries. You have to be assertive. You have to, like, know your own mind, and you have to be certain of what it is you want, and have a plan of how that's actually going to come to fruition. A mature plan, a practical plan, not just pie in the sky, airy fairy stuff, you know. And so, you know, like, I need a really good guy for me, someone who's going to know exactly what he wants, who's going to work on himself and as a team. Because a relationship, if anyone's watching now, a relationship is hard work, and it takes teamwork to build a relationship. And two people in a relationship, to have a healthy relationship, you both should be working on yourself individually, and you should be working together in that relationship to build it. And if there's issues that crop up, you should be addressing them, not saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, this is just this. Liam, there is nothing true about love. I do believe in true love, Liam. I know you don't, and that's fine, but I do believe in true love. Whatever happens in life, I will always believe I've got an Indian soulmate. I know intuitively, since 2014, intuitively, I have this soulmate that I believe I've met in a previous life, and I need to find him in this one. and I will do whatever it takes to find him, because he's precious to me, like I should be to him, you know? And I doesn't matter, like, even if I stay single for years, that's fine, but I still have this in me that I would still like to be with this guy, because I think that although I'm really happy being single, there is potential for me to be really happy with him too, you know? And whatever happens, I always believe I've got an Indian soulmate. I just know it because when I'm in Indian groups, by the way, on Facebook. I went in them as for myself, but also for a guy. So it's like kind of like, because there's a lot of guys on Facebook, and it's like these groups that if you want to move to the UK, you can get some contacts in them. Sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're not so good. But they have a lot of Indian people in there literally moving from country to country and getting jobs in accommodation. And they're like, has anyone got accommodation in London? Does anyone know how, have any jobs going? Blah, 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 blah. And so I was in these because I was like, I'm helping the Indian guy in the future. I've been preparing for an Indian guy in my life for years, because in order to attract the love you want, you have to prepare for that person as if they're already in it. This is one of the things about law of attraction. If you're into law of attraction, which I personally am, is, if you want a relationship, you've got to literally see in your mind's eye what it's like. Your resilience about finding your Indian soulmate is unparalleled. Thank you, Rob. Lots of love to you. He's Indian as well. I know. I know. I know that the guy that's just, like, decided to have kids over me, being with me, he's Indian, I'll tell you, obviously, because you don't know on this channel, because I haven't really spoke about him, because I was keeping him quiet because I didn't wanna jinx it, and I didn't want things to go wrong. So basically, like, from watching this channel, and Rob knows, and Liam knows, like, Ace Man knows. So I have always believed that I have an Indian soulmate, and he is literally short dark hair. He's got longer dark hair actually, clean shaven. He's nearly clean shaven, thin, and he works in IT. He can code websites, which is this is what the guy is training to be, a full stack developer. And I get really asexually turned on, if you like, when a guy talks code. I just like, it's one of those really weird things. Like, not many people get this, and most women are not really into coding websites. But I can build my own websites, but I can't code. So when a guy can code, it's like, wow, I'm so in awe of you. It just makes me want to kiss the guy more. And so it's like, yeah, so women, like my other women who are sexual might like want a guy to talk dirty to them. And it's like, I don't want you to talk dirty to me. That's a turn off. But if you talk about code to me, I'm like, oh my God, you're so intelligent. Because I have intelligence attraction. So I associate building websites with intelligence attraction. And so I get really intelligently attracted to a guy that can code websites. It's like, oh my God, you can code websites. Come here now and give me a snog. This is the type of thing I am. But like, I love the type of young life always. Like, I'm very, very young, and I always will be. And it's good to be that way, and I do have disabilities. One of my best friends who's a guy. He actually comes and takes care of me sometimes. He comes and does my food shopping for me. He comes and does cleaning for me. He comes and lifts things for me. So if you didn't know, fibromyalgia is a chronic pain condition that actually affects the nerves and muscles of the body. Most people cannot go clubbing with it. Most people are bedridden. Some people are on crutches or in a wheelchair. Bless Ganesh, he will bring you everything. London red note burning the green. Oh, nice to see you. I think I came across you on Instagram, didn't I? So yeah. I like to live a young lifestyle. I am young. I like to be young all the time. I do not like to live like the type of age my birth certificate is or anything near it. I'm not that type of person, And I do have disabilities. It's not suitable for me to have children. Like, I don't even like cooking or cleaning for myself. I hate it. I have paper plates just to avoid washing up. I don't even wash up every day. I can't stand it. I don't like cooking. So I don't want the cooking, cleaning for a guy. Like, so although I like Indian guys, there's no way I want to like traditional marriage Indian guy to an Indian guy, because that's not who I am. And I don't want the cook, the clean, do housework guy. I just don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. I lived that life before. I lived the life of a 9 to 5 with a guy, not marriage, not kids. I did live years ago with the guys, more than one guy, and it just didn't work out. And it was just like horrible. It's just like boring. I was old in my personality, because it was just like you're coming home and you're just like sat in front of the TV and just like, is this life? I mean, where's the fun in it? life is flaming short, and if you watch the media, which I don't, but if I can help it, you'll know that it's full of doom, gloom, rape, violence, murder, death. I'm not about that. I'm about love, light, happiness, spreading positivity, inspiring people that you can live your dreams even in the moment. So when I go to the cinema, for example, I feel so magical and special. It's for me, it's like going to Disneyland Paris. I love going to Disneyland Paris. It's very expensive and very romantic as well. Last time I went on my own. Romance on my own is so good. But obviously I do, like I would like to experience some things with my soulmate. And and I just love it. It's like whenever I go to cinema, it's like I get such a buzz. It's like I'm so excited. This is a cinema and I'm just watching a movie. I try to watch stuff that's really good for my soul, and my personality and kids movies, And so I'm really not interested in my birth certificate age. I couldn't give a toss about it. Like it's not who I am. It's only because I talk from experience, and also if I have to say it for my asexual community, like in books, like if I have to do a talk somewhere. So when my Asexual Guide to Sex book comes out, ironic title, I know, but when it does, which I've been working on for over 3.5 years now, since June 2019, when that comes out, obviously that I will be promoting that a lot, and that that will pop up the popularity of this channel probably in the stuff I do, but I do it to help asexuals, but when I'm doing stuff like interviews for it, I'll probably have to talk about my birth certificate then, which I'm really not interested about, but people get like about it, well, you got to see your birth certificate. Some interviewers will only interview you if you do that. It's just really annoying for me because I'm really not interested in it, but if that's what they if that's what they need, so that's about the only times I will talk about it, because like I'm not interested in it. I have no I was older before my time when I was a kid. Like I was really old soul in like a young body before the age of 10. And I was old for my age, like was a 19. Like I moved out of home with my parents saying when I was 19 in birth certificate age, and right, and I actually went and lived with a boyfriend at the time, but that's another story which I don't usually tell because I'm not interested in him, but ex-boyfriend now, obviously. But yeah, so I was like, I got with him when I was 17, by the way. So I knew what I wanted at a very, very, very young age. Like, I had my first heterosexual boyfriend when I was 6 years old. I'm not interested in having sex, by the way. I have had sex in the past. I'm not interested in that now. So I wasn't interested in it back then, but it's like, you do it because you think you have to. And it's like, no, I just want the kissing. And at that point, I wanted kissing and touching. I'm like, I like the guy's finger and his lips, but that's it. I don't need anything else. Being very personal here, but yeah, that was it basically. But he wanted more, and I did that because I thought, okay, that's fine. But the last guy I was with, he was good at sex. I'm just not interested in it. I just really would rather not have it, and I can't do that ever again because I just something inside me just won't allow that to happen. I just really repulsed by it these days. So 2011 is the last time I did that. It's like it's 2023 now. It's like what, 12 years ago or something? Oh my god. I'm really not interested in that, but kissing and sensuality, like kissing, putting my hand through the guy's hair and all that, Indian hair specifically. So, like, yeah, it's hard because I do believe I have an Indian soulmate from a past life. I do believe in reincarnation, however crazy that might sound. And I honestly believe I'm meant to be with an Indian guy. 'Cause being in these Indian groups, I feel like I've come home. I'm literally like feel like I'm home. That's the only way I can describe it. And the only time you get like the feeling of being at home is when you literally have come home spiritually. It's like a home is where the heart is. So it doesn't matter where you go, you come back to your heart, you come back to your home, you come back to being with that person or being in that concept. Like I haven't or hadn't, I didn't think until this guy, but obviously he can't be the right guy for me. If he's chosen kids over me, it's fine. But I hadn't met the guy in person, and so there's always a sense of like I'm coming home around other Indian guys. Even I feel that, I feel like, oh my god, this is normal for me, this is home for me, this is really comfortable for me, this is familiar to me. So I don't know if I was like, I know I believe in reincarnation. I think I've been here a long time because years ago, like I said before, I was 10, my soul was really old, and now I've gone like backwards to younger. But I think I've been here a long time, a lot of years. And I used to get deja vu as a kid, and it was freaking me out. I had to kind of stop it. It was hard to stop that. So I used to dream stuff and it used to come true, but this is going far out of stuff that I never usually talk about on this channel because it's very woo-woo probably to a lot of people. So anyway, I am still convinced I do have an Indian asexual soulmate somewhere in the world. And this guy, he turns out to be on the asexual spectrum and didn't even know it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he is. The way he described himself, everything he says to me sounds like he's on the grey end of the asexual spectrum, I think. But he sounds very identical to me. Like, he sounds like, high arousal level, zero sexual attraction, I think. But he might have some sexual attraction. I'm not sure if he's demisexual, but he's still on the spectrum, I believe, from what he said. And so, like, I just think I don't think he'd mind me sharing that, because I know he shared some stuff on the in the comments on the channel that I was with. I originally saw him through publicly. I'm not going to say much about his private life, obviously. I'm not going to go into that, but I think he'd be okay with me saying that, because I remember when on the channel he was talking about, in another channel comments, he's talking about sex drive, that he has high sex drive, and that, so he said it publicly. So I think I'm fine to say that. But obviously anything like secret, like I'm keeping secrets, Um, so yeah, it's just, like, I want a different life. I don't want conventional 9 to 5 sex, marriage, and kids type life. To me, that's conditioning. I mean, we are conditioned literally from birth to want that type of life, to think everyone's heterosexual, to think that you grow up having sex, marriage, and kids. This is just the normal. But it's society's way of conditioning you into keeping the human species alive and going on and on. Right? They don't care about you as individuals. They just care about you as a species and continuing it. It's part of conditioning. As you get experienced in life, you realize that everything is conditioning. You're conditioned from birth to believe heterosexuality is the only sexuality that you should be, and that everyone should be that. You can get conditioned at birth that you should always like be wanting marriage and to be a housewife and to be subservient to a guy a lot of the time in past, particularly. Maybe not so much now, but it's still there. There's still, even in my own culture in the UK, it's still like a lot of women are supposed to do housework for the guy. It's like, why? I'm not interested in doing that. It makes me miserable. And it's like, oh, but if you love someone, you do anything. No, if you love someone, you don't do something at your own expense that makes you unhappy and resentful. I don't want to do housework for a guy. He can do that himself. He's perfectly capable of looking after himself. This is not, he needs to get that way. I have a hard time enough looking after myself and maintaining a really nice, energetic vibrancy as much as possible. Like, emotional pain really makes my fibro worse as well. So like, when I'm being upset, like, my legs are really hurting at the moment. Um, but like, I respect that it's his decision and he's chosen the kids over me. The reality, you're only Indian guys. Was he even good looking? Yeah, he was really good looking. And yes, okay, so I like different foreign guys. Okay, so the reality is asking me about foreign guys. Okay, so I like different foreign guys. Indian's my top attraction. And the reason why is I have the most asexual attractions for Indian guys. So I experience like 8 different types of attractions. Um, and aesthetic, romantic, emotional attraction, intelligence attraction, creative attraction, spiritual attraction. I could go on. Aesthetic, romantic, emotional, spiritual, close attraction, creative attraction, intelligence attraction, and there's spiritual attraction, and there's probably more and more. But anyway, there's about 8. There's a video I did on it on this channel. So I experienced 8, up to 8 asexual attractions, so attractions without sexual attraction. And out of those 8 attractions, I can have up to all of them for an Indian guy. So I have the most attraction for them, and aesthetically, I just feel comfortable physically around them. And it doesn't matter usually whoever else I'm attracted to. I always think that if I don't be with an Indian guy, that I'm not gonna be with the actual soulmate. Like, so I like Pakistani guys as well. I like Bangladeshi guys. I like Sri Lankan guys, Middle Eastern guys. I do get attracted to all those type of guys. I have a Spanish friend who is very attractive aesthetically. Really nice personality as well. So I am attracted to him aesthetically. He knows it, but he's just my friend. He's not attracted to me, which is fine. He's in his 20s as well, but he's such a lovely personality as well. It's not just about aesthetics. He's really, really nice, kind person. Really lovely. I get on so well with him. But yeah, so he's not Indian, obviously. So I just think that even when I've like been considering Pakistani guys, he's smiling. Oh, even when I've been considering Pakistani guys, then I just I just always think I just can't be with the Pakistani. I can't be with someone for the rest of my life who isn't Indian. I don't believe, because I just don't think I'd be satisfied or happy, because I always be believing that I have missed out on a soulmate, that the guy I'm meant to be with in life, I ended up being with someone else that I shouldn't have been with, you know? And there is other good people out there. Not all Indian guys are good. There's a lot of out there that are not good. I know from personal experience. But, like, if I believe my soulmate's Indian and then I end up being with someone else, I've just I've just basically crushed my opportunity of ever finding the right guy for me. Because I just, like, as much as I like other guys, it's just never ever the soulmate that I want, you know? It's never ever the soulmate I want, you know? I thought this guy was my soulmate, to be honest. The emotional connection and the asexual stuff, like the compatibility, is really, really rare, in my personal opinion, to find someone that compatible. That compatible. It's just like crazy, Like, it's just like, I had to babysit him. He was crying like he lost someone in his family. Oh, well, I was crying for hours. My friend was, like, in message for hours with me, I don't know even how. I haven't even been to sleep. He's been to sleep. I haven't, as far as I know, because he said he was switching on his phone and going to sleep. And so he's been to sleep, and I haven't even been to sleep. I have literally stayed awake the whole time since I've been before I went clubbing, because I was talking to him. I went in the shower and I was talking to him then, you know? You know? And if you were truly soulmates, they would feel like family. It would feel like tearing your heart. Well, it did feel like tearing my heart out and soul out. It's horrible. I didn't think I'd ever feel that way about someone again, especially someone I haven't known very long. That's kind of crazy to me. But it happened and I can't help that. I really can't, like, you can't help your feelings. You can't stop feelings. You can't say, hey, do not feel that. It doesn't work like that in life. It doesn't work like that. As much as you might think, oh my God, you can't love someone that quickly. If it happens, like, what can you do? You can't deny it to yourself, because that's just, you know, like, I hadn't even seen him on video, but I just got on so well with him in messaging, like, it was, like, so natural to talk to him, so easy to talk to him about anything and everything. And I do have a lot of experience, obviously, in asexual type of relationships and attractions. Like, it's very, very rare to find someone so compatible like that. Like, he is different. I know that about him, and you probably know that about him. He is a very different guy. He's very different, and he can, I don't know what to say. He's very different, and even from talking to him, I'm like, you do realize it's going to be hard for you to get a relationship that you really want later on. But you can get, obviously, your parents can arrange you a marriage or whatever. But are you going to be really soul connected like that on a deep level? He has a very childish heart, so he gets hurt a lot. Yeah, but I wouldn't have actually hurt him if he'd have been compatible with me. Because I loved him, you know what I'm saying? I actually genuinely cared for him. But he does need to, like, realize that, well, he knew I didn't want children, yet pursued me anyway. Like, I was bound to get hurt, and so was he, if that was the case. You know what I mean? It's not good. Um, you know, and I get hurt a lot by choosing the wrong guys, I guess, or by end up being with someone who's not compatible for me. But I actually am, in terms of, like, I'm actually a really good person, and I would have been really good for him. Because actually in a relationship, when I'm serious and committed with someone, I'm really, well, I'm really with them, and I believe you have to find someone in life that you are compatible with, who can hold their heart in your hand, who can hold your heart in their hands and cherish it forever. That works both ways, though. You're supposed to, as partners, protect each other and care for each other and love each other and safeguard each other. you know not cause heartache and pain. Obviously, some of it's gonna be heartache and pain. Now I see why he didn't used to play with me and was constantly on the phone. Well, me and him were just, like, chatting for ages, like, because we were getting to know each other, and I said that it'd be great to do a video call with him. He told me to watch your live stream. Oh, thank you. I'm really glad he told you about me, because at least it shows he did actually really care about me if he's told admitted to his friend. Like, I've been really crying, like, I forgot this is my, like, pajama top, because I haven't been to sleep. Um, and I'm glad he told you. I'm glad he was brave enough and had the courage to actually say to his friend, "Look, I do actually really like this older girl, and she YouTubes, and please watch her, and because I really like her." I think that's really good. I didn't know if he was with you or not while he was on the phone to me, but like, I needed to get to know him. We needed to get to know each other. We had so much to talk about. And I do like a guy who is very communicative and who likes to chat a lot. And I really understood him, I think, on a deep level. And he had lots of things he needed to tell me. I've cut connection with him because he chose children over me, and I can't be the person to give him children. I do not want to be with someone who has kids at all. And if he wants children, I need to set him free to be with someone else, someone who he can have kids with, or he can go and have that life on his own. I cannot, like, I will not stay with a person that's not right for me. I made fun of him at first, but deep down I know he's a very good person, even though I won't say it on his face. Well, as friends, you should both be respectful of each other and bringing each other up. That's what friends do. I was trying to explain this to him. True friends are respectful. They don't insult each other. They don't make fun of each other. They actually bring each other up. They be like supportive people in each other's lives, right? Because especially as you get older, you want someone's going to support you. You want someone's going to understand you through all the stuff, or through all the good times and the bad. I personally don't like anyone making fun of anyone. Everyone's entitled to be different and have their own opinion, and everyone's entitled to have love, care, respect, and support, and understanding. The world would be a better place if we would just like drop the ego and actually be kind to each other, with boundaries. You have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries, like, this is not acceptable, don't do this, or this is acceptable. You have to say what you like and dislike and have boundaries and be strong with people. I mean, I was talking to him about boundary type of stuff. I'm not going to go into everything, but like online, for example, I say no to a lot of people. I block people. I block people on this channel to keep this channel safe. Blocking people is about safeguarding yourself. No, I didn't. I knew that if I continued to not block him, for example, then me and him would just end up talking all the time and crying all the time. I would actually die for him, honestly. He's like a brother I never had. Oh, so sweet. That's so sweet. Well, you should be telling him this. You should be like brother bonding with lots of love and compassion and caring for each other. You two should have each other's best interests at heart. You should be looking out for each other. And you should be caring about each other, not insulting each other or making fun of each other. Like, he like, I don't think it's good for his self-esteem, to be honest. I think it's better if you bring him up, and make him feel good about himself. And I'm glad that you're saying this now. It's important. Um, I thought he's a good guy. I think he needs to work on himself. I think he needs to learn boundaries and needs to learn to say no to certain types of things. He needs to be more strong with certain people, and he needs to know his own mind more. And like like, I was having a conversation. I don't want to go into all personal details. I've got to be careful what I say, but I was talking about boundaries. That's all I can say. And like the fact that I have strong boundaries and the fact that I block people and I will cut off, like, he knew that I might cut off from him because that's what I do. Because I cannot, if I stay unblocked with him, there's always an opportunity for me and him to start talking, and we'll just carry on talking. And it hurts me. It hurts me talking to him, knowing that he wants something different to me and that we can't be together in a relationship. What's the point in carrying on talking to me? He told me he told you about that chick. Her name was Caroline. Oh, right, okay. That's his ex, is it? Well, like, I had a conversation with him about blocking exes, especially bad ones. Like, it wasn't even a good ex, it was a bad one for him. Why would you want to even keep a connection with that type of person? That person does not deserve your time, care, and attention. And if they come back into life, they can't come back into your life if you blocked them. Like, it makes it much more difficult for them. Obviously, some people just can find other ways, if they're that hell bent on doing it. It's like, for example, there was an Indian guy that I did like years ago. He was on asexuality.com, which is a dating site for asexuals. And he was the first like Indian guy, well, or he might have been the second, but first asexual Indian guy that broke my heart. And he came back into my life and years later and told me he had a girlfriend. Can we be friends? And I'm like, no. I didn't actually block this guy, I don't think, because I didn't need to. He came on my Facebook out of the blue, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be friends with you. It's not a good idea, after what happened. And that was it. He left me alone. But, like, I didn't even know why he's contacting me when he had a girlfriend. That's really bad. It's like, I've got my girlfriend now, but I want you as well. It's like, no, because being saying no to people is all about safeguarding yourself. She used to talk behind his back and even said bad things about him to me. And I used to think to myself how bad she is for him. Yes, she's really bad for him. And he should have blocked her ass years ago. Excuse my language, but I'm very blunt. He should have blocked her. I'm like, why aren't you blocking her? It's like, oh, in case she needs my help. I'm like, she used you. You do not give help to people like that, however much they cry. These people, like, who are, for example, he told me she was narcissistic. People who are narcissistic abusers, they come back and give you all sorts of sob stories about, oh, this person's done this to me. Oh, I've got such a bad boyfriend now. Help me. I'm a damsel in distress. It's like, F off, It's like, you don't give in to these people. You're just like, I'm not interested. It's not my problem. He should be saying, like, if he's going to talk, he should be, if anyone who's going to hurt him, it's going to be me. Well, no one should hurt him. You shouldn't want to hurt him. No one should want to hurt him. Um, you shouldn't want to hurt him. He's not, I do like him. I did like him. What can I say? Like, he is, I like the fact he's emotional. I like the fact he's sensitive. I like the fact he's different to other guys. I liked a lot of stuff about him. And so, but if they're, if someone's a narcissist or abuser and you just cut off from them completely, you don't give them time of day, and if they come calling back, which a lot of them do, you just literally ignore them and if you block them, they can't contact you anyway easily, but you just get them out of your life. You say, I've got a partner now, I'm not interested, so it's important, like, your friend does need to find a good girl for him. He needs to find someone who will cherish his heart. He needs to find a good girl for him who won't break his heart. I don't do stuff like that. I'm a nice, kind, caring person, and I'll be really good for whatever guy does end up being with me. And I don't play with the guy's heart or emotions. I'm very crystal clear and very direct, and so I just, like, if he's going to find someone, I hope he finds someone who is like me in the sense of kind, caring. Like, I don't take advantage of people, and I'm very kind and caring person, but I don't accept rubbish. Like, I will walk away from a guy who's no good for me, clearly, who doesn't want, who chooses different things to me. If a guy, chooses kids over me, that's fine. What's the point in hanging around? There is no point. He's made his decision. I have to go, because if he doesn't want me, some other guy will want me, and I'll be someone else's treasure, someone else's little gem, someone else who, like, values my worth so much. He's like, I just want Sandra. I'm not interested in anything else. I like kids and stuff. I just want to be with her. Obviously, his friends he still needs to keep. God, I got friends. He is like a straight gay. He is like a straight gay. Well, if he's like a straight gay, then why is he interested in me? Straight gay or straight guy? Straight gay. If he's gay, then he likes guys, and he should just be with guys, shouldn't he? Do you know what I mean? If he likes guys, he should be with guys and not care what his family thinks. If he prefers to be with guys, he should be with guys. you know? Straight and gay is like two different things. Gay is the opposite of being straight, no? And if he likes guys, then why is he even interested in me? He's a weirdo. Okay. Fair enough. Well, then I'm better off not being with him then. If that's the case. So if he's gay, then I wish him the best of luck. I hope he finds a nice guy for him. And thanks for telling me that he's really a straight gay guy. A gay guy. So yeah. Because if he's weirdo and he's a straight gay guy, then I'm not suitable for him, am I? And if he's straight, he's probably not asexual then. And if he's gay, he's on LGBT community, but not asexual then. So he basically like sex with guys or sex with women and then to snog guys, or what is this straight to gay? Because they're completely two different phrases. You were joking. All right, I don't find that funny, but there you go. But anyway, whatever he wants, he can go and get in his life, can't he? So but yeah, he chose kids over me, so good for him for making a decision, being decisive, and knowing that he wants children. I personally don't want that life, but it is what it is. He's chosen that, but there will be other guys that really appreciate a child-free life and that don't want the responsibility of kids and all that headache and responsibility of taking kids to school and packing their lunches up and talking to them all the time. And I don't believe in palming kids off to other people. I believe if you're going to be a parent, you should be a damn good one and you should be there for them as much as possible. Like, he likes you a lot though. Well, I liked him a lot, I more than liked him. But if he wants kids, what can I do? He liked me a lot, but he knew I didn't want children before he even pursued me. Why pursue me if he knew that I didn't want children? And so I don't want to hurt you. Of course he's going to hurt me if he wants kids and I don't. Like, that was never going to go anywhere, was it? You can't be with someone in a relationship when they want major different stuff to you. It just doesn't work, Like, these are deal breakers. Sex, marriage, and kids are complete deal breakers, You can't be in a relationship with someone who wants marriage and you don't. You can't be in a relationship with someone who wants kids and you don't. You can't be in a relationship with someone who loves sex and you don't. You know what I mean? It's just not compatible. It's really, really not compatible at all. I liked him so much. I more than liked him. It's really horrendous day for me today. I've been really upset, I'm a bit numb at the moment, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like cried so much, pretty cried out of tears by now. What can I do? He's chosen kids over me. That's fine if he wants that life. I don't know why he'd want that life, apart from that it's in traditional Indian culture and it pleases his parents and he thinks they're cute. That's not really a reason to have children, is it? But there you go. And if you're going to have children, you should be taking care of them yourself, in my opinion. Like, when you have children, the first between the age of 0 to 6 or 7 is the years that shape you most. So it's important that whoever is your caregiver is there for the child as much as possible, to give it as much love, care, attention, nourishment, encouragement, kindness, all that type of thing, in equal doses all the time, so to make sure that they are securely attached when they're older. So attachment styles are what you get through when you are a child and you are having a relationship to your parents or caregivers, and you end up getting a different attachment styles depending on how your caregiver cared for you. Secure attachment styles the best, to be. But if you're, for example, anxiously attached or avoidant attached and stuff like this, these are insecure attachment styles. And depending on how your parents hugged you or cuddled you as a child, how they picked you up, how they played with you or didn't play with you, how they reacted to you, responded to you, the traumas they were going through in their life or stuff, that affects the child considerably, you know, really considerably. So, you know, like I genuinely cared about your friend. I genuinely had feelings for them, and they don't just go away. Like, it's just, but I can't, you know, there's no point in continuing the conversation with him because he wants kids and I don't. It's just going to lead to more and more heartache and pain continually to talk to him, going around in circles. Like, he wants kids, I don't. It's like, why would I stay in that situation for myself, knowing that something he wants is not what I want? It's not going to make me happy. I need to get out there and find the right guy for me, because like I said, if he hasn't chosen me, he's chosen kids over me, he's not the right guy for me after all, is he? Even though I thought he was my soulmate, even though I thought he was the guy that I've been looking for like since 2014. I'm like, oh my god, here he is, like really asexually compatible with me, and really like has a look I like, and does the type of job I like, and yeah. So I was really optimistic about things, and we do have some stuff that we're not the same on, but I just thought, I didn't honestly have a clue that he wanted children. The way he came across was not like that at all to me. Um, you know, at all. Like, nothing that he said about his lifestyle would give me a clue that he would want kids. Especially as he wants his own business, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a big deal. It's like, well, when are you gonna make time for the kids if you got your own business? That's like, it doesn't make sense. But I guess some people who work from home can give a lot more time to their children, I guess. But I'm like a career girl, if you know what I mean. So I'm all about legacy for myself. Like, you can obviously have children, but once you have children, that's it, you're dead. You've had a child, you've passed on your genes and your family name or bloodline, whatever. How do people remember you then? You were just a blip that produced another baby that popped out. This is like the way I view it, you know? And whereas, like, when you leave a legacy, like I write books, like this is my first asexual book, which I actually talk about my Indian soulmate in this Asexual Perspectives book. So, wait, are you from the UK? He never told me that. To be honest, he's highly attracted to older women, never liked women his age. Yes, I'm from the UK. I live in the UK, and I'm highly attracted to younger guys as well. So I'm glad he's told you that he likes older women. Yeah, I don't like guys near my birth certificate age. And so I like younger guys, particularly Indian in their 20s. Like, that's my top attraction. I just very direct about this, you know. But he's got to realize that older women usually have already had their children. I don't have any, luckily for him or for whoever's the lucky guy. But a lot of women who are older have their children of their own, and they're usually grown up and adult, you know. And so he's got to understand that if he likes older women, that most women that he likes will have already had kids. Some won't even be able to have kids anymore. And some do not want the responsibility of more kids or even any kids if they got to a certain age. It's like, I'm past that, you know, they're past that age now where they want children. They want to be living their life, you know, they don't want to be having kids around. So he's got to understand that, yes, he's young, but that might be an issue that crops up with him with any older woman, that she's either got kids of her own, which may be even similar age to him, like brothers and sisters for him or something weird, but there you go. And that you know, and that she might decide that she, like me, that she never wants children, and she's like, why would she? And if she gets to a certain age, she might be like, I'm living my life now, I'm not going to live, you know, for kids. And also, when kids are grown up, they usually just want to do different things. But I'm not a typical older woman in the sense that I don't like older women's stuff a lot of the time that older women like. Like, I like theme parks, zoos, aquariums, and clubbing. That's like what some person would do in their 20s. It's not, you know, because I reprogrammed my mind to be like 21 years ago using NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's what I did. So I do a lot of stuff that 21-year-olds do on purpose because I think like that and dress like that quite a lot of the time. Like, even my dressing gowns, like Eeyore dressing gown and stuff. Like, I have cuddly toys and stuff. See? Eeyores in the background. Um, but, like, so he's got, if he likes an older woman, he's gotta understand that that's different to his culture anyway. And in India, a lot of them, like, similar age, don't they? Or a bit older maybe, but, like, he likes much older than him, and I like much younger guys. So I thought that was gonna be quite compatible, like, really good. 'Cause I had a good conversation with him, I had a really good connection with him. He was able to talk to me about anything, I was able to talk to him about anything. It was quite safe. I think we were very safe for each other in that way. We held a very safe space for each other, and I really appreciated that, and we could share secrets and stuff together. And so, like, I thought that was really good and healthy between us. So, um, like, if he wants an older woman, he's gonna have to tell his family that he wants to be with an older woman for a start. Because if they give him an arranged marriage with a younger woman, how's that gonna be good for him? It's really not. So he's gonna have to tell his parents that he likes an older woman, and they're just gonna have to deal with it. And, like, he needs to, like, understand that older women, they're at different life stages, a lot of them, and they want different things. And, like, a lot of them aren't even child free. They'll be having, like, grown up kids or maybe half grown up kids that he'd have to look after and take on board. Do you know what I mean? It's like he needs to think practically about these things. Like, okay, so I like older women. What's that going to entail? Well, most older women do actually have kids of their own. And they might even be divorced. They might have an ex hanging around or that they still see. A lot of women have been married the age that he likes, and they have got kids. Luckily, or it would have been lucky for him. I don't have any of that. So there's none of that kind of like baggage in the sense. Obviously, I do have exes, but there's none of the baggage in the sense of divorce. There's no divorce papers. There's no kids having to split custody and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So if he's attracted to older women, he has to understand that that's different, and there's different responsibilities that come with that. And older women won't stand for rubbish either. Like, she'll expect him to have boundaries with other women. She'll expect him to be able to say no. She'll expect him to be able to block people that are no good for him. She'll be expecting to like stick up for himself and not be used as a doormat. She'll be expecting him to realize that he's got to filter people out of his life, good people, bad people, realize that he's got to have standards for himself like that. And as part of safeguarding himself, but safeguarding the other person. Once he gets attached, he gets attached. It will take him years to get over you. Well, he's he, I get attached as well. Like, it takes me usually a minimum of 8 months to get over someone, you know? Minimum, usually. And so, but what can I do? There's nothing I can do about it because he's chosen to have kids over me. So I can't do anything about that, can I? There's nothing I can do. And if he gets attached, why even pursue me knowing that he wants children and I don't? And not even say anything, keeping that from me. It's not good. It's not, keeping something from someone, major especially, is it's not the same as lying as such, but it's nearly. It's like keeping something. Do you know what I mean? It's like purposely keeping something that he knows is going to affect the me and him, and he withheld that back to pursue a relationship with me, which he knew couldn't go anywhere because he wants kids and I don't. Like, it's not good, is it? That's the one thing that's not good. And then he's upset now. I'm upset now. He's heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. It's going to take me a while to get over him. It's going to take him a while to get over me. And it's just a mess and upsetting, because I had love feelings for him. I can't even, and he said he had that for me. And what can I do? There's nothing I can do. He's chosen kids over me. I have to accept that and just say, fine, I'm obviously not the girl for you, woman for you, whatever you want to call it, because I can't give you that. I don't want that. I do not want that lifestyle. I do not want that responsibility. I do not want that type of thing, in my life. As something I've never ever wanted. I love a child-free life. I love being young, free, single, child-free, and even in a relationship, being young and free with the person. just being able to be the two of us and, like, to have dates and to just spend time with each other and obviously spend time with our own friends as well, very important. And but, like, just hang out together, not hang out with that person and a kid. I'm very, like, young on purpose, obviously I'm mature, but I'm young at the same time. And it's like I am a kid, like, on purpose sometimes because it's fun and I like being that way. It's like there's no room for another kid in the relationship. It's like I go kids club. I love going to kids club movies at View Cinema, it's really cool. Like, I'm very, very young. And so, like, I am like the kid on purpose in the relationship. Usually the guy, if it's a younger guy, he's like the older one and I'm like the younger one. It's the way it works out, but it's usually quite nice complimentary thing, like, and so I'm like the kid and he's like the older one. Not necessarily in this case, but, you know, um and, it's heartbreaking, because obviously, from my point of view, if he hadn't wanted children, he could potentially have an amazing relationship with me. Like, he would be with an older woman who understood him. He would be, like, finding his out more about his sexuality. He would be able to be having a girl who really into kissing him and really loves his looks. He'd be into someone who's really super supportive. He'd have like an ally on his side. He wouldn't have a woman using him or gonna abuse him, which he's got to be really careful of. And he would have had like a really good like best friend for life as well. And he would like we got on so well, like in messaging and stuff like that. He's easy to talk to about anything and everything. And all that was really good stuff. There are some stuff that he would need to work on, though. He does, there is stuff he needs to work on. I don't even think he should be having children until he's worked on that stuff himself, personally. Do you know what I mean? It's like you got stuff to work on yourself. If you're passing that stuff down to kids, that's not good. Anything like that is rooted or that's bad patterns, bad habits, we all need to try and change those as much as possible. And we need to work on them. We do not want to pass them down to kids because they just get passed down to generation. And this is when all the problems happen. I don't know what to say. I really cared about him. I care about him obviously now. I want him to be happy. I want it's hard because I want to cuddle him. It's kind of really difficult for me. um you know are you seriously over me? So you're talking now? You're just gonna block and forget me? Well, I'm not gonna forget you, am I? But at the end of the day, you chose kids over me. What more can I do? There's nothing more I can say. You've chosen to have kids. I don't want kids. And you knew that about me. And you continue to pursue me knowing that I don't want children. What was the point in it? It's just led to both of us having heartache, pain, and heartbreak. Like, why pursue someone when you know that they don't want kids and you do? It's just pointless. It's just led to a lot of heartache and pain. And I have to get over you if you want children. I have to. Because I need to move on with my life to a guy who doesn't want kids, who's happy to be sex free, happy to be child free, happy to love me for me without children, happy to be with me, who wants to be with me for me and who wants to lead a child free life. You don't want that. You want children, which is fine, but you should have not pursued me, to be honest, because it's just caused us both a lot of pain. And there's no point in pursuing someone if you both want different things like that. There's absolutely no point whatsoever. It just leads to this situation of like heartache and pain and heartbreak, you know? And I can and will get over anyone I have to, because I have to. There's a guy out there who's going to be like, Sandra, I'm here and I cannot be like talking to you still when I can't be talking to you still when my real soulmate's out there. You can't be the soulmate for me if you haven't chosen me. You've chosen kids over me, fair enough. But I've got to move on with my life, haven't I? And find the right guy for me. And find the guy who's going to love me without kids. The guy who's going to not even second guess being with me, the guy who's gonna put me first, who's gonna have me as his priority, who's gonna value a relationship with me and gonna value a relationship as a main priority. We've got very different values and beliefs, clearly. You know, your value is like being a dad and having children. My belief and value is being free and having freedom within the relationship, and leading a child-free life and not having any of that responsibility whatsoever. Why I personally understand why anyone would want that responsibility. I've never wanted that responsibility. You know, it's one of the biggest responsibilities. It changes you. You've got to change. You can't be you anymore if you're going to have kids. You know, your life is not your own. It belongs to them. You dedicate your time to it. Otherwise, don't bother having them, you know, if you can't do that, you know, yourself. Not palm them off on a nanny or a maid or someone else. You need to look after them yourself. You know, it's a very, very crucial time in a kid's life when they're young, between the age of 0 to 7. And so, you know, like, I've got to move on with my life. I've got no choice. Why would I continue to talk to you and just go around and be more hurt by you, knowing that you want kids and I don't? It's not going to do me any good. It's going to be totally unhealthy for me and just make me really upset and in more pain. I'm not going to stand and stay in pain. You know, I specifically cut off from you so you can't have easy access to me on purpose, because I don't want to continue to talk to you when you want completely different things to me. And there's no point. I need to find the right guy for me, someone who's going to want to go clubbing with me, which I don't think you would even want to go anyway, and who's going to be really faithful to me, really strong boundaries with other women, and who's going to be like, you know, like really, really into me and really want to build a life with me and build a team and stuff like that, you know. And you know, and someone who's going to want to work hard at a relationship with me, and who's really going to want a relationship and prioritize a relationship with me, you know, and who's going to be cherishing me and loving me. And, you know, I deserve a really good guy for me who wants the same things in life as I want, who, you know, and it's better for me to be single and not talk to you than keep talking to you and end up in pain, you know. It's better for me to carry on pursuing my life and pursuing my and my legacy, you know? I have a legacy to leave that does not involve children. Never has done, never will do, you know? And, you know, I have to help asexuals more and more. It's my life mission is to help asexuals and get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. That's my mission. It's given to me by the universe of God. So that's why I was put on this earth, you know? Not to make babies or to have babies or to do things with babies or children. I'm really not a baby person at all. You know, it's just not my thing. My thing is being independent and being an individualist, playing by her own rules in life, and, you know, like, working together as a team with someone who wants to build something meaningful with me, you know, who wants to build a real relationship in real time, have something meaningful, have it actually planned out practically in good ways, and who wants to, like, you know, be an adult and, you know, like, have strong boundaries and just be a really good guy for me, you know. I need to find that guy. I need to find my actual soulmate that chooses me, because you can't be my soulmate if you haven't chosen me. You haven't chosen me. You've chosen kids. It's fair enough if you want kids more important than me. I don't personally have the same values and principles and priorities as you do. I don't value kids being in my life like that. If I want the kids, I could go and work in a nursery or something. You know what I mean? If I want to play with kids, or I can just go to kids club like I do anyway. But you know what I mean? That's just like, I don't need that. Kids are nice to, like, say hi to and treat like little beings, but not to have on my own. You know, why would I want to be tied down to that? You know, I wouldn't. Like, I like my freedom. You know, obviously in a relationship, you've got, like, ties to a relationship, but that should be something that you really want and that you're happy for and that you enjoy, you know? And You know, I personally think people have kids for the wrong reasons. A lot of people do. They don't really think it through. You know, a lot of kids are very unhappy childhoods. It's not good. You know, so you should never have a kid just because you want one. It's cute and cuddly or to carry on the bloodline. It's not good. You should have a kid because you really want to spend time with them and stuff, you know. But most people are conditioned from birth to just think about carrying on the species. That's why we're conditioned that way, so that we don't run out of people. But it's all conditioning. You know, you don't have to have the sex, marriage, kids type of life, but some people do want kids. That's fine. It's just that they don't pursue people that don't want it. You know, what's the point? You know, there's nothing more I can say. It's heartbreaking for me. Like, I've spent time getting to know a guy who I really like, who I thought was my soulmate, only to find out that he kept from me that he wants children, and he knew very well that I didn't. That was always going to end up in heartbreak and pain for both of us. And that was down to you deciding to pursue me and not telling me that you do want children when I don't. And not accepting the fact that I don't, which I clearly told you before you even emailed me. That's down to you. You have to take responsibility for that, you know? So yeah, what else can I say? You know, I have to move on. So yeah. Anyway, this has been a very interesting live stream, and I want to thank everyone for being in chat today. It's been a difficult show, but hey, you know, I want to say thank you to Liam for being in chat, Super Ace Man, no, and London Redneck Burning the Green, The Reality, and yeah, Justice the Doggo. Anyway, I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Love to you all, and I hope you find the asexual person of your dreams and live happily ever after. I hope you all find true love and the one that's really meant for you. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Take care, lots of love. Bye. Bye.